My son and I just got back from walking a property with a gentleman by the name of Lloyd. We met him at the Molina Festival, and he's also the one that gave us the thermal video to post where he's coyote hunting, and then there's the strange moaning wells is only way for me to describe it. I will actually include that video again in this video, but he doesn't live too far from me, about an hour and a half. He has access to a couple different properties out there, and I kind of had a suspicion when he showed up at the festival that there was more going on. He obviously told me, he was looking forward to talking more about the subject and everything else, and we get out there and, he's got some pretty good stories, some very weird things that happened out there, and you'll see a few of them. He'll explain the stories, but we just walked around. We didn't find anything 100% while we were out there, but it's our first trip. We only walked around for a couple hours. There's a lot of property to cover and 2 different properties, so we're hoping that since we have access to it, Lloyd, Lloyd's given us permission, he's going to come out there with us, and hopefully we can hit it with 2 different teams. Great property filled with hogs. I believe that's part of the reason why, especially in the South, hogs seem to be the common denominator. I don't have a whole lot here around my property. I have seen them on thermal, but there's not like a big presence of them. But a couple miles across the highway, supposedly there is an area where there is a lot of hogs. The happy place, covered up in hogs. Up until recently, the hunting property, Lloyd's hunting property, it was covered up in hogs. There's recent activity out there all over the place. And hogs actually make our job a little difficult because they destroy, they root up the ground, and it's hard to find tracks and stuff. But, this is what it's all about. This is why we have a channel. This is why we do what we do, man. It's great meeting somebody else locally. And, he's got buddies that he goes out with hunting and stuff, but a lot of them have no interest in the topic. And we were kind of talking a little bit about that, and that's not abnormal, especially it's not even necessarily that people don't believe each other. Sometimes even grown men with guns just don't want to have to think about the fact that there's one of these creatures out on these properties while they're walking from their truck at 4 o'clock in the morning with no flashlight to go get in their stand. It's not abnormal at all. It actually, when you realize these things are real, it changes the dynamic people have between themselves and nature. So hopefully, man, we can team up and, give him some backup and go out there, and awesome place to hunt too. So, we're going to bring him on board and bring him in the group, and hopefully take him up to North Georgia and a couple other places with us too, return the favor. There's a lot of people interested in the topic. There's not a whole lot of people that are willing to spend the time and effort and energy into actually researching the topic in the field. And not everybody can do that. Some people's lives just don't allow it. But it's great to find somebody who is willing to do that, and it was good to meet him. Great property, and you'll see a little bit of what we looked at today and what he was talking about, and what brought us out there.
What is that sound?
hog. It was at this feeder. I was in that stand. I shot him with the thermal. Came back the next morning. Actually, I believe I tied a rope to him and drug him. See how the little mound is right there? I just stuck him right down there. Figured the vultures, cleared out. So I don't want the carcass here. It'd be sitting on my trail camera.
Right.
Within, it was less, I want to say less than 5 days, it was gone. Right after the rainstorm, I came back. No bones, and it was kind of down to where it was raining heavy. It would have washed the bones down into the wood.
Right.
There was nothing.
Well, usually, I mean, if nothing else, it gets, picked apart and pulled pieces.
You'll find bones.
Right.
Now, I've shot other ones and left them there and come back and all you find is bones. Okay, so when the survey crew come down, they had cleared out a big spot. It looked like a huge deer scrape. It was perfectly clear. And I believe that somewhere they put some kind of stake in. It was like a reference point. But for that whole summer, it was clear, right? Nothing on it. So I'd always look at it for tracks, either hogs or deer. And I come down here and I swear to God, one morning, well, it was afternoon, morning, it doesn't matter. There's a white marble sitting in the middle of it. You ever play with a wrist rocket? And the glass marbles you get? You buy to shoot, it was one of those. So I thought, that's weird. So I picked it up and put it, I don't remember if I put it on this stump or this stump, but I just set it there. Next time I come back, it was gone. I looked around there, I didn't see it. Now I didn't I didn't go crazy with it. So I went home and found this marble and put it in the jar, and I found a little metal jingle bell. And I put it right here and I pressed it in. And I come back, it was gone.
Really?
And I did this to see if anything was going to manipulate it. Now I found this on the ground a couple times, but that's the wind, branches, I get that.
Right.
But I try not to put it on too tight, so something would have to pick it up and open it.
Huh.
But I bet you if I was to take this now, people say it was a crow.
I knew there was more going on out here than you were saying.
Well,
I knew you had a reason.
Weird I'm not saying that's what it was, because I didn't see no tracks or nothing. It could have been a crow.
Yeah, it very well could be.
But the fact that I found it there was weird.
Yeah, that's the weirdest part.
Yeah.
Here's a bone right here.
Yeah, that could be anything.
Yeah, it could be. Something got the marrow out though.
Yep. I guess that bone, we're 100 yards away from where that thing was on the stump.
That's super cool looking though. Armadillo shell.
My wife is an art teacher. She would be drawing something with that pattern.
That's very cool.
Hexagons.
Yeah.
Something.
Neat to see how things are designed.
It almost looks like a computer generated.
Pretty cool. Jackson found the baby hog skull right next to the armadillo. So something.
There's a bird armadillo.
Who's collecting bones in here? Might just be a raccoon or something, but we got two different species together. That's cool.